Hello there, one and all. Welcome to Slapendipity, Hobos of Happy Slappyville. I am Eric, who you may call Eric, and with me is Devin, who you may call Gibby.
I'm Gibby, and I'm down to town. Not down to clown, I'm down to town.
Okay, that's an important distinction. So, you know how you don't want to marry a clown?
That is accurate.
Right, it's important on who you marry and what you marry them for and who that person is. All that good stuff, right?
Yes, I know plenty of people who married clowns.
Now, hear me out.
Okay, continue.
What are the lengths that you're willing to go to for a marriage? For the person that you presumably love very much?
I mean, it sort of depends on what we're talking here. Like, is it like, oh, this person's my wife, and then we've been married and we have kids, and then they have a brain aneurysm, and they're like in a wheelchair or something, and I have to take care of them now for the next 40 years. You know, obviously, yes, I would do that. I said my vows at the wedding. If we're talking like I'm 5 dates into a relationship and the girl tells me that she's a werewolf, I might be like, oh, actually, I'm not looking for that right now.
Okay, so what if...
50-50.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
What if you marry the woman
Mm-hmm.
and you go on a business trip to a
Mm-hmm.
faraway land
Yes.
for 6 weeks,
Uh-huh.
and you come back and your trip was terrible, the guy was weird, you like got assaulted on the road and stuff,
Chased by dogs.
You come back home, chased by dogs, and you come home and your wife is like, sweetie, I have something important to tell you. I made a contract with a demon and he's coming for me and he's going to kill you if I don't submit to him.
Well, this would be after the wedding, right? So the vows have
After
already
the
been
wedding.
said. Yes.
Yes.
Vows have already been said.
And
this...
she made this contract when she was like a teenager.
Yes.
And she just never told you about it
Yes.
until now.
But did she fully believe that it was real until this moment?
That is the $1 million question.
$1 million question. Okay. Probably
we can...
less than that because it was like old timies.
True.
Okay.
$1,000 question.
$1,000 question.
We can say at the time she didn't fully believe it, but over the course of her life, she's believed it slowly more and more until it finally reached this climax, if you will.
Okay, now, when she agreed to marry me, was there some factor, something to the effect of like, oh, the moment that she met me and we started dating, she no longer felt these evil feelings because she had me, and so she thought that love had conquered the darkness. Is that an important factor to what happened?
It could be.
Okay.
You know, it seems a little hit and go. Like, I think for the most part that is the case, but like when you're away on your 6-week business trip or something, it like comes back. So like presumably any long amounts of period of time away, like that would like rise up and...
Okay, now the evil entity, the demon that has got hold of her.
Right.
What kind of evil are we talking about? Are we talking about like some benign evil, like murders children?
No,
or are we talking true evil, like it flickers the lights?
I would say it's the worst of both, really. It flickers the lights, and it is kind of like an animalistic death that brings about plague.
Okay, so I'm what I'm getting from this is that you saw the movie Nosferatu.
Devin,
Yeah.
I did, but also, what are you doing with your wife?
So I think that what the husband in that movie did by trying to kill the vampire to protect his wife, even though his wife is the one who made the pact with the vampire, was the correct thing, and I would have done what the husband did, and he was in the right to do so.
Okay, hear me out.
Okay, are you in the camp of you would abandon your wife because she's the one who made the deal with the vampire? Is that what your argument here is going to be?
No, now... Listen.
Okay.
It wouldn't be, oh, you made the deal with the demon, so you figure it out. It would be like, I love you. I don't know if I can die for you. I'm sorry. I don't know if I can confront the demon for you. That's just a big ask, and I think the what's his name, Friedrich, in the movie Nosferatu, massive spoilers. I think he's supposed to represent like the everyman, right? All of this occult stuff and demon talk happens, and he's just like, what? No. Life? Hello? There's a plague? I just want normal life. Normal things are happening. And, when he makes out with his corpse bride, it's understandable a little bit. Because he's tweaking and afflicted by the plague.
Yeah. Okay. So you're saying the average man shouldn't defend his wife?
Not that they shouldn't. I think it's just... I think right, in the way that, like, most people think they could take on a bear, or at least most men.
Do they?
In the common internet culture, right? Like, that's the joke. And it was born on a grain of truth. Like, there was a time where, like, oh, if you fought a bear, could you beat him? Or, like, what's the smallest animal you could beat in a fight? And a lot of people, like, a lot of guys said bear. Because they have eyes, and you can poke out their eyes. Same thing, like, if people would choose a shark, and you just go for the eyes, which...
But you should do that.
You could try.
That has happened.
I mean, you should go for the eyes, but, like, I don't think you're beating... a shark in the water just because they have eyes. Now, in the way that most people overestimate their abilities to one-on-one combat a shark or a bear, I think most people... Well, not that, like... I think there is people aren't as in tune with themselves and, like, the perceived threats and flight, fight, freeze and fawn reactions, and like, I think if you were face to face with a demon and your wife was like, go kill him for me, I think most people would freeze up and it just wouldn't work out. The amount of people that could kill a demon, I don't know.
Probably very few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say.
I mean, good to try.
I will say in the movie that the wife didn't tell him to go hunt the demon. She specifically told the husband to leave so that she could kill the demon, which is what happened.
Yes, and
but if my wife says go to kill that demon to protect me, I am going to go kill the demon to protect her. Doesn't mean I will, but I'll try.
Brave man.
Yeah, ladies, get you a man who will fight a demon for you.
So did you see the movie Nosferatu?
I saw the movie Nosferatu last week.
Oh my gosh. Did you like it?
To steal a joke from Twitter, there was no post-credit scene with SpongeBob, so I was a little disappointed. But I gave it 3.5 stars.
Wow.
I thought it was very, very well done. I loved the natural lighting. Obviously, costumes and acting, phenomenal. It was a rare movie where I think that there's nothing that would have been improved if they had a higher budget. There was no shot where I'm like, that would have been better if they were on location. Or, wow, that would have been better if they could have hired more extras for the crowd. Or like, wow, that special effect is Garbo, right? Like, the whole movie, I think, was exactly one-to-one with the director's vision. I've seen other movies by Robert Edgar, and so he kind of has just, like, that style. Right. It's just, the movie, it's very oppressive. There's, like, narrow streets, and there's fog, and there's people dying, and there's spooks. And, set during, like, a really rough time to have just been alive in general. And people are, like, losing their loved ones and their friends and their families, etc. And so when the movie was over, I was just in a bad mood, which is obviously the point, right? So, like, the director got me to feel bad. But, like, doesn't mean I enjoyed it.
I don't know if the point was to make you feel bad, as so much as, like, reflective and contemplative and, spend time with your loved ones or something.
Yeah, again, just gross and depressing on purpose.
Yeah, well, just like real Nosferatu and Dracula. Hooray!
Yeah.
So have you seen the 2 big internet claims about this movie?
The only thing I've seen is memes about SpongeBob and about how Jimmy Carter was alive for all 3 Nosferatu premieres.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
he was over 100 years old. Continue. No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So there are two things people are saying that I've heard of, at least.
Okay.
Is that A, every other movie needs to pay attention to it, because despite it being dark, you can very clearly see what is happening on the screen.
Yes, that's the lighting I was
unless it does
about.
not want it you to. Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, after seeing it, like, yes, 100% agree. Like, the only times you can't tell what's going on is when they don't want you to know what's going on. And it was just very good. Like, I understand what's happening on the screen, and it's dark. This is incredible. I don't know how we haven't figured this out still. The other thing that is big on the internet for them, slightly surprised you didn't hear about, is that it's all a metaphor.
I mean, probably, vampires going back to like Dracula and stuff is all very sexual typically, and I think that this movie, especially with the way it ends, I'm not going to go all the spoilers, but with the way
I'm all the spoilers.
Okay,
we put it up earlier.
Okay, there's clearly an aspect to sexuality about it. I have a feeling that you're going to say that it's about like repressed sexuality of the time and how that's bad, which I think would be really annoying because I don't think that's what it is. But there's definitely a sexuality element to it.
Well, it's about lady gooning.
Okay.
Borrow the phrase.
Yeah.
Of just like, it's all about this girl who is lonely when her mom dies and her father isn't around really, or is not like emotionally there for her, and she reaches out to something.
Yeah.
And then is given great comfort for years, and then she has a husband and it all goes away because she can have proper relations now that she has a husband. And then when he goes away, the horrors come back. And then, in the ending, she's just had a really nice time.
So I almost think it's less symbolic than that. I think it's probably more something to the effect of like casual sexual encounters where she's lonely and so she has casual sexual encounters because people crave that kind of connection. I think there's two aspects to sexuality. One of them would be like the physical pleasure and the other one would be like the companionship, and so she can't get both, but she's able to get one, and so that satisfies her until she then meets a husband who does give her both. But she still has this dark past. Like, oh no, I slept with like a loser creep man years ago. And then the husband's gone, and then like that temptation comes up again. I would relate it more to like the stereotype that like army wives like will cheat on their husbands while they're at war. Like to me it seems more like that. Like, oh, them hoes ain't loyal than it does to like specifically like masturbation.
Yeah, so from what I have seen online, it is... people are saying it's for masturbation, and just, like, it's a sin to masturbate, God's crying, and whatever.
It's also a sin to have, premarital sex and cheat on your spouse.
Sure. But those are the two things. Mm-hmm. It looks good when it's dark, and it's all a metaphor for... Nosferatu, if you will.
Oh, lordy. I mean, I get the interpretation. I just guess I would disagree, because I think that it being some sort of like... and it's almost... I'm not saying necessarily this movie is, but this movie is obviously in conversation with the original Nosferatu and Dracula and stuff like that. But it's almost like imagine that, you're some sort of like maid, and you go into the room of, the daughter of the house, and there's like a man there, and he jumps out of her bed and sneaks out the window, and this is her like secret lover, because like she's not married, so she shouldn't have one, but he's there anyway. And the maid's like, oh my god, what happened? And so the girl lies and is like, he is a monster beast, a creature of the night that jumped through my window and like seduced me with his magical mesmeric stare. And like, oh, these marks on my neck, he bit me because he's a vampire. You know, it's like sort of like a lie that sort of
I
puritanical woman would have told in order to keep up appearances, and like that's sort of like where that idea of the sexual vampire came from.
I think that, well, I guess in general, whatever. I think for this movie is I would disagree with of like, like for most of the time his power is a shadow. Like all he needs is his shadow, and when he does have an encounter with her when she's a teenager and she doesn't know what she's doing, and then at the end when she does know what she's doing, but also just like this is so I heard about this before watching the movie,
Okay.
and so now I'm like, where does the metaphor begin and end? Because
the first shot.
well, hear me. So like,
yes,
there's a lot of convulsions that happen.
Yes,
and it's presumably borrowing heavily from like exorcism movies, like The Exorcist or something. But like, and like the way they scream and all that, like all that, all of his possession could just be, climax.
I mean, that's stated pretty clearly in the movie. I would say that one of the reasons I would opt for my interpretation is because the way the movie ends is that she has sex with a vampire, which kills him because the
sunlight kills him.
Yes, him staying with her until daylight kills him, and then the other men barge in. So it's like, okay, so the problem is over. If it's supposed to be masturbation, it's like, oh man, I just did
you
it
walked
so
in
well
on your wife.
that now I'm done forever. Versus like, I seduced him and he came here and then all the other men came and then he was caught in the act. This open window maniac version of the vampire.
But it's not an open window maniac version. She let him in, and like, I saw an interesting interpretation. I don't know if I fully agree with it. That like the ending scene, she isn't dead. She's just in like the little death of like like post-nut clarity type of thing.
Yeah, I think that it was very, very ambiguous as to whether or not she was dead. Obviously, he was like taking bites out of her heart, but like who knows?
I think it was. I don't know.
I don't remember. It's been a week
her
for me.
breast. The last shot was cool though.
I don't recall the exact last shot. Was it just him lying on her?
Yeah.
Is like disgusting.
And then like her splayed out on the bed, and there's a pool of blood.
Yes.
Gosh, I'm glad we rate these explicit.
Yeah, this is definitely the most explicit episode we've had. But at the same time, we're just talking about media. It's not like we're making jokes about this kind of thing. We're talking about a movie that just came out.
Yes. No, I was just me talking about a pool of blood and like, I hope people don't have vivid imaginations or children are imagining.
No, it's because the vampire was eating her while they were like in bed together.
Sure.
No. eating her heart.
Well, I mean, they did say she had a heavier flow.
Oh my god. But yeah, very, again, well-made movie, just not enjoyable for me.
I think it was enjoyable for me. I also had a little bit of, like, nostalgia, I guess, with it. Because, like, I have performed in Dracula plays and stuff, and I was like, I know that scene. Hey, I was there in that scene.
Have you read Dracula?
No, but I performed in it, so same thing to me.
Yeah, I read Dracula in high school. I've never seen like the earlier versions of Nosferatu. I just knew in general that it was like a copyright infringing German retelling of Dracula.
Yeah,
which is why it's
it's
pretty different, but
I don't know. So the play I did was based off the Bram Stoker version, and like I don't know it. There's obviously some differences, but the reasoning for Nosferatu is whoever wanted to make it. I don't know their name. They went to Bram Stoker had died, and his wife was in charge of his estate, and they were like, "Can we make our own Dracula story?" And she went, "No," and they went, okay, here's Nosferatu.
Yeah, and then they were sued for copyright infringement, and every copy was supposed to be destroyed, but some of them weren't. It was saved from being lost media.
Whoa.
Wow.
So, that's how I spend my Mondays, or Wednesdays.
Mondays. Did you see this on a big
Mondays.
screen, or did you see this where we used to work?
Oh, yeah.
Big screen?
At the theater.
At where we used to work?
Yeah.
Okay. By big screen, I meant, like, did you go to IMAX? IMAX 3D?
No, I don't
For
go to
Nosferatu.
IMAX for anything.
Yo,
I don't see the point.
I might have to do IMAX for Superman, because I was watching... I watched Mufasa yesterday, and the Superman trailer, I'm not, like, a big... I don't really have faith in that movie being very good, but just the sound of that trailer was incredible. So, like, if I'm gonna see it in theaters, I might want to have to see it on a big IMAX screen.
I mean, I guess. What does that get you, though?
Better sound, immersion. You go, wow. There's some scary movies that I'll watch where if you watch it in the theater, it takes advantage of the fact that there are, like, speakers in the back that, like, only activate when... You know, like, you're watching a movie, and there's, like, a door close sound effect, or someone's talking behind the main character, and it comes from these small speakers in the back of the theater. There have been multiple times, especially when we first started working there, that I was like, wait, like, did the door to the theater just open? Is there someone in here? Like, was that someone talking? And then we all look around, and we're like, no, it was the back speakers. And that is just unmatched. Like, I love that experience.
That's fair. I shrug.
Shrug.
I could take it or leave it.
So since you talked about your movie, can I talk about my movie?
No, this is a one-sided conversation.
Okay, well, that's true. I don't want to spoil Mufasa for you for when you go and see it.
No, Devin, you watched Mufasa?
I did watch Mufasa.
No.
So if I recall correctly, you boycotted watching the 2019 Lion King remake.
I mean, I didn't watch any of them except for the Beauty and the Beast one, because I think we went as a group, or I went with a group of people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have not watched any of the Disney live action remakes because I don't see the point. They're not for me at best.
Having never seen, like, the original Beauty and the Beast or, like, any of those movies, I'm not, like, rushing out to see them. But I did see The Lion King because I got to see it for free because this is when we were working at the movie theater. So I watched The Lion King back then. Obviously, I've seen the animated version. And it was just, if what everyone says about it's true, it's not as good as the original. It's longer for no reason. The special effects aren't great at making the lions look real and the animals look real. Like, it's just not enjoyable. Like, if the original didn't exist, I don't think this would be a classic, but I do think it would probably be appreciated more. But it was just not great. So I was kind of interested in Mufasa. Because, okay, at least it's telling an original story, so you won't have the original to compare it to. And maybe, you know, it's been a couple years, so maybe the technology will be better.
Was it?
Technology better, yes. So I walk in. It's getting very, very mixed reviews. And I'm expecting it to just literally be bad. Like, I really only went to see it to, like, get out of the house and go do something. So I sit down, and I start watching Mufasa. And for the first third of the movie, my mouth is hanging open, agape, in shock and surprise, with a wide smile on my face. The first third of that movie is phenomenal. Like, actually incredible. I'm like, wow, if the movie keeps up this, you know, quality, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. This is going to be a 5 out of 5 movie. This is going to be a movie that's actually, like, worthy of being a prequel to The Lion King. Like, this is actually amazing. Obviously, it's still, like, a family movie. It's rated PG. I think it could have gone, like, a little darker. But, like, there were scenes where, like, lions were fighting, and then, like, they tell us, like, and that one died. And I'm like, well, he died because the other one bit him, and yet there's no blood. There's no blood on the mane. There's no blood on his teeth. There's no blood on the ground. Like, It's a PG
He
movie.
died the Nosferatu death.
Yeah, like, you can get away with showing blood on the lion's fur after he kills someone with his teeth. Like, we get it. You don't need to be that sanitized.
We do.
But besides that, I was, and then, I'm not gonna say the moral was simplistic, but, like, what happens is, Mufasa is like Moses, and so he's with his parents, and he gets, there's this big flood, and which isn't like Moses, but this next part is, basically he gets washed down the river from his parents, and then he's washed into the lands of this other lion pride, and so the queen lion, there's a king, the queen, and the prince is Scar. And so the queen finds him and takes him in, and then he's raised as the brother of the prince. Again, that's the part that's just literally Moses. And so, like, you go and you meet the king. You meet Scar's father, and he's like, being a king is all about power and, like, showing everyone else that you're better than them. And, what you should do as king is, like, just take lots of naps to show that, like, you're the ruler and to make everyone else do the work, but then to also make sure that they know that you have power over them, right? Just, like, teaching horrible lessons about what it means to be king.
Right.
And I'm like, it's a little like, oh, I get it. He's a bad king, so that later we're going to see how good of a king Mufasa is. I get it. But besides that, again, just such a good movie. And, like, pretty frightening. Like, when he's being washed down the river, he's, like, holding on for dear life. And he's, like, clinging onto, like, a branch. And then an elephant got caught up in the flood. And so the elephant comes and, like, destroys the thing he's holding on to. And it's frightening and exciting, and, like, it's sad. He's separated from his parents, and, like, they might be dead, and, like, they think he's dead.
Mufasa can't catch a break.
Yeah, and they get, like, the songs are good. I'm like, I'm really vibing with this. I
Left hook.
I like the story of, like, oh, Mufasa and Scar aren't real brothers, but, like, they end up growing up together, and Scar loves him even though he's not his real brother. And Mufasa appreciates that these people have taken him in, and he is home. And it's really cool because the king doesn't like him because he's not, like, his real son. And so he's like, he's teaching Scar, like, Scar, one day you will be king. Come and learn how to be king from me, a person who's bad at being a king. But Mufasa, he goes and he, like, lives among, like, the common folk. And he, like, learns how to hunt from all the women because the women are the ones who hunt in lions. So, like, he's picking up all these traits that the king should actually have. Where Scar is just being, like, trained by this incompetent guy who happens to be king. And I'm like, oh, this is a pretty cool, like, origin story. Like, I actually am vibing with this. And then the rest of the movie happens.
Uh-huh.
And the rest of the movie is trash.
Okay.
Like, I am actually flabbergasted as to how this happened. I feel...
Different department.
I feel like someone wrote the movie, and everyone really liked the first act, and then they get into the second act, and some head of Disney person was like, this second act where they're, like, walking to, like, because they have to leave their land because there's evil lions coming and they have to go to a different land. He's like, this part is boring. Throw in some fart jokes, fam. We're gonna have some quippy one-liners. People are gonna go, it's right behind me, isn't it? Or, wow, dude, you really messed that up. Zazu, like, talks to the camera. Zazu starts talking to the camera. The entire plot becomes so that they run into another lion princess whose, like, entire pride was killed. This ends up being Mufasa's wife. So, like, if you knew Mufasa's wife's name from the original movie, then you know who this is immediately. And she has Zazu with him. That's where Zazu comes from. And so now the three lions and Zazu are traveling to, like, go to the promised land away from the evil lions. And just so Zazu's, like, starts talking to the camera, and he's like the humorous man. What's that called? Comic relief. Which is like, we really didn't need comic relief. We really, really could have done without it. But the story becomes that Scar has a little crush on this girl lion that they're with, even though they've known each other for, like, a day. It doesn't really feel like he's naturally developing feelings other than she is a woman. But
True love, man.
But then, because Mufasa's actually talented and cool, she's, like, crushing on Mufasa. And so that's the entire conflict, is that Scar gets jealous that that the girl that he has a crush on Mufasa. And so this whole movie that's set up like they are brothers, even though they're not literally brothers. They are brothers. And so he goes and he's like, hey, evil lions that are chasing us, here's where they are. Go and kill my brother for me so I can snag the girl. And I'm like, what happened? How did we get here? This is so
Scar is evil.
stupid.
We need to make sure that people know he's evil.
But he's not evil, he's just an incel. Like, that's literally the only thing that happened. He went from, like, I'm a prince, but I value, you know, I don't value, like, literal blood connection and, like, bloodlines and stuff. I love my brother. To then gonna kill him because of a girl.
Hey, listen.
Absolute cringe.
This all ties back. If you... would you kill your brother for a girl?
No.
Well, would you'd kill a demon for her?
I'd kill a demon for my wife.
Line?
I would not kill my best friend because the girl I have a crush on has a crush on him, who I've only known for a few days.
Yeah, well.
Absolutely stupid. Also,
maybe some people just fall in love better and harder.
So the movie...
And it was supposed to be me.
That's stupid. The movie is told... So it's Rafiki telling the story to Simba and Nala's daughter. Is like... I know that she has a name in Lion King too. And this, her name's like...
She's the main character.
Yeah, it's not Kira, but it's something like that.
Yeah. I'm a fake Lion King fan exposed.
Oh man, you don't even know Lion King 2 lore.
Oh, it's Romeo and Juliet. I know Kovu. Everyone knows Kovu because he's hot.
Oh my god, he's a lion boy.
Okay.
Anyway, so the whole movie, like, we keep getting interrupted by Rafiki, like, and this is why I think that Zazu didn't need to be comedic relief, because it would keep cutting back to Rafiki telling the daughter the story, and like Timon and Pumbaa are also there. So when we cut back to those scenes, Timon and Pumbaa are telling little jokes. You know, when they're on their little adventure, it cuts back and Timon is like, oh, I think I know who this Te-Ka character is, because that's the name of Mufasa's brother. And it's like, you know, obviously that's Scar, they just don't call him Scar yet. And then Pumbaa's like, oh my god, I don't know who it is. Is it me? Am I the evil lion in this story? So like, it's kind of like pointing out to the audience, like, hey, this is Scar, and Pumbaa's silly. Isn't he dumb for not knowing what's going on? Anyway, so his name is like Te-Ka, and the whole movie, it's like, okay, well, we know in the original Lion King his name is Scar, because he's got big scar on his face, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But in this, he has a different name, obviously, because he didn't always have that scar. So maybe he'll get that name in the course of this movie, right?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Okay, so the evil lions are chasing them.
Yeah.
And the reason the evil lions are chasing them is because the evil lion prince tried to kill Scar's mother, who was like the queen.
Okay.
And Mufasa, in self-defense, kills the prince.
Okay.
Evil lions roll up and are like, we're here to avenge the prince. You know, who killed him? And then the king's
Checks
like,
out.
well, he was killed by our prince, because our prince is mighty. By our prince, he means Scar. And so now the evil lions are like chasing them to kill Scar, even though it's Mufasa who actually did it. Okay. So we get to the scene where Scar's like, well, screw this, I want the girl. And so he doubles back, and he goes to the evil lions who are chasing them. He's like, just so you guys know, it was actually Mufasa who killed your prince, not me. So what I'm going to do is, as we're walking through all of Africa, I'm going to use my claws, I'm going to leave some marks on, like, trees and rocks and stuff to mark our path so you can follow us. And they're like, okay. And at the end of the movie, what happens is the evil king lion is about to kill Mufasa, and then Scar has a change of heart, and he jumps in front of him, and the evil lion just scratches Scar's face and gives him a big scar on his face.
Oh my gosh.
And then this allows Mufasa to get the upper hand and kill the other lion, and then peace is brought to the Great Valley, and all the dinosaurs cheer. So then at the very end of the movie, Mufasa goes to Scar and is like, brother, I forgive you. And Scar is like, no, I must go into exile for my betrayal of you. And Mufasa's like, I will allow you to do this, but I must say that, like, I can't look at you the way I looked at you when we were children and we were brothers, and so from this day forth, I will never say your name again, your true name. I will only call you the name that is associated with your betrayal. I will call you Scar, because you left scars behind on rocks and trees with your claws to mark that we were being followed.
Claps. Claps for Patrick.
So it has nothing to do with the scar on his face. It has nothing to do with the scar under his eye. It has nothing to do with the scar that he got saving Mufasa from the evil lion. It's because he left scar marks behind to track where they were going. And I'm just like, what?
Listen,
What
it
do
was
you mean?
presumptuous of you to think Scar was named Scar from watching the original movie because of the scar under his eye. Okay? Obviously, if you watched the prequel before the original movie that didn't exist at the time, you would know better.
You know what's funny is that the character that Scar is in The Lion King, his equivalent in Hamlet is...
Scar!
No, what's the name of Hamlet's uncle?
I don't know, man.
His name's Claudius.
Just like a cloud.
You could have named him Claw, C-L-A-W, Claudius, and it would have been fine. Why'd you go with Scar?
Oh. Because the movie, the first movie had a scar, so we had...
No, I mean the original Lion King, when they were making it in the 90s, they could have just named him
Scar.
Scar.
Yeah, he had an evil scar-looking thing. He was, you know...
But they could have named him
Scar.
Claudius. Like a pun on Claudius.
Listen, Mufasa doesn't really fit into whatever King Lear's name is.
Well, that's because all the characters in Lion King have, like their names are Swahili, so Mufasa means king and Simba means lion.
Prince,
Simba,
I think.
No, it literally means lion.
Oh.
And Nala means gift, and Rafiki means like wise or something.
Well, you know what upsets me about all of this Lion King live action talk?
What?
Is that they didn't continue the Shakespeare trend.
That
Lion
is
King
true.
Is Hamlet. Lion King 2 is Romeo and Juliet.
The best movie, Lion King 1.5, is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. Which is, that whole thing started with that book where they're like, okay, we're going to tell the story of these side characters from Hamlet. And so this is a story about the equivalent of those side characters, but from The Lion King, which would be Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this
it's a real shame.
This should have been Othello. There should have been like a racist
or
lion.
Midsummer's Night Dream or something. Instead, they did a half-ass pull from Moses, and then the garbage.
Well, I say all this, but for all I know, this could be a reference to like a Shakespeare play, but maybe just not one that I'm familiar enough with to have recognized.
I suppose. And you know what the other tragedy of it all is? If I'm not mistaken, they deviated from the original source material.
How did they do that?
Well, there's a whole book of Lion Kings. So, like, again, if I'm not mistaken, I very well could be. Scar got his scar from saving Mufasa from rhinos.
Was that previously,
in a rhino attack?
Previously established lore?
In the books.
I didn't know that those existed.
In the books, they are from the same family, and their parents call Mufasa, which is king, and they call Scar trash, whatever the Swahili, I guess, name for trash is. Yeah. And so when he is attacked by the rhinos, Mufasa is like, brother, trash, you saved me. And he's like, no, don't call me trash anymore. Call me Scar. There's a whole ancestry list. Like, the books go back to Simba's, like, great-grandparents or something.
So what I'm hearing is that they threw out the old extended universe and created their own new Disney canon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess they did. Maybe. Well, they should have, like, bookmarked some things. I think it's a lot more empowering for Scar to name himself Scar than...
No, Mufasa does it out of his shame.
Yeah, that seems kind of messed up. Hey, Devin, did you not save your wife from a demon? I'm gonna call you...
Demon head.
Yeah, not... No wife.
I'm gonna call you no wife.
How's it like going to get groceries? No wife.
Sag.
Did you read this book, No Wife? It's pretty good. That'd be messed up.
There's a so we talked a couple episodes ago about the show Taskmaster, and the guy who hosts it, Greg Davies, is a comedian. Greg Davis, I think. And so I watched some of his stand-up comedy after I was watching Taskmaster, and he tells this story. He's like, I have a friend who we call Baghdad, and we gave him this name in elementary school. And I went to see him recently, and his nieces and nephews call him Uncle Baghdad. Like, we just chose that name for him when we were 8 years old, and now it's what his family calls him. That's just his name. And the crowd laughs. And he's like, now, you may think that there is some, like, relevance to this name. You know, Baghdad, you know, it's like a place. You know, so you might think he's, like, Middle Eastern or something. But no, it has nothing to do with that. It's because on the first day of the term, he comes to school with a new backpack, and he's all proud of it, and we say, where'd you get your bag? And he says, my dad bought it. And so from that day on, he was Baghdad.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, that is so funny, because that exact, like, I've witnessed very similar things to that.
No.
But like, yeah, you know, you're 7 years old, you get a nickname, that's your name forever.
Yeah. Thank goodness I didn't get any nicknames.
Have you never been nicknamed?
That is correct.
That's... I guess me and you have short names, so, like, we don't really get nicknamed. There's some people who call me Dev. I don't like it. There's one person who we used to work with who calls me that, and she's the only one who's allowed to.
Well, you know, because, you know, like Dev Patel, I'm sure his full name is not Dev.
It might be.
It might be, actually. I've never heard him not called Dev Patel.
Yeah. I've heard him called Prince Zuko before, but I try to forget that.
He didn't, you know, he was a child actor. He didn't, you know, that's not on him.
His full name is Dev. That's just his name.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. What do I know? I don't know anything. Maybe no one should take what I said this whole episode seriously.
No one should take this whole episode seriously.
So they take it in, like, a windy way? They curl it up?
In a ball?
I guess.
Like a cat? Like a lion playing with, like, a little yarn ball?
Oh, yeah, like a little yarn ball, and you kick it up, and you're like, meh.
And you go, here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, kitty, and then the kitty comes and, like, they whack at the yarn ball with their little clawsies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what else has claws?
Nosferatu?
Vampires, yes, Eric, yes. We're on the same page here.
Thank you.
All right. What else have you done this week that's not seeing the two movies we just talked about for 45 minutes?
It's New Year's.
It was
Welcome
New Year's.
to 2025.
Yes.
Technically, our last episode, I think, came out on New Year's Day, but we didn't talk about it.
Yeah, because when we recorded it, it was not yet New Year's.
Yeah. Happy 2025! Yay!
Happy quarter of a way through century year. Kind of scary. I thought we'd have like people on the moon by now and flying cars, but it's fine.
Well, you know.
What are your... I've heard... I was on a live stream on January 2nd.
No way.
A guy put together... A Five Nights at Freddy's YouTuber put together a live stream with a bunch of other Five Nights at Freddy's YouTuber, and I was there.
Oh my gosh.
And it was actually...
I watched that live stream.
You watched it? Did you watch the whole thing? Or just parts of it?
No, for a few minutes.
Were you there when I mentioned Kingdom Hearts?
No.
I did that for you.
You put that in the group chat. And then I tried to rewind to find it, and then I couldn't, and I just did adding it.
I did that for you, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of the guys who was on the stream DM'd me later and was like, hey, I don't really follow Kingdom Hearts. Can you, like, more explain what you were talking about here? So in my highlights video, I understand what's going on. And I was just like, oh, God, I need to introduce this poor soul to Kingdom Hearts lore.
You know.
I need to explain how Ventus's heart... sharing his heart with Sora, and thus Sora's nobody being Roxas, is similar to two souls being inside Golden Freddy. Completely incomprehensible to anybody unless you're me and happens to know both of those franchises back to front.
Yeah. I don't know FNAF.
Anyway,
Anyway.
at the beginning of that live stream when we were just getting started, before we actually started talking about anything, people were talking about, oh yeah, it's the day after New Year, Happy New Year. They also all said Happy Birthday to me because January 2nd is my birthday. But they were
Wow,
like,
happy
Happy
birthday.
Bappy. They're all saying Happy New Year. And one girl starts and is like, hey, did anyone else make bingo cards for the New Year?
Wow.
And I'm like, I think Eric texted me something about that, and then I didn't look
I
at it.
did.
So you can tell me all
Oh,
about that because I didn't open it because I was doing this.
okay. Well, I came across a YouTube short that was like, instead of doing a New Year's resolution, do a New Year's bingo. So you know, resolutions are very like a black or white kind of thing, right? You
Yes.
lose 30 pounds by the end of the year, and if you don't do it, you feel bad, and if you do it, you feel good, and if you don't lose it by halfway in the year, and then you forget about it, and you're like, whatever. So the New Year's bingo is you come up with 24 ideas because there's always a free space in the center. So you come up with 24 things that you would just like to do over the course of the year. And they can be as simple as, for myself, eating soup dumplings, or as complex as like going to travel to a new country or a new place in general, or learning a language, or you can make it back down to simple and like seeing a movie or reading 5 books. So I made one.
Okay. And so you're going to try to get bingo, or it's just like a clever way of making a little
Yeah.
checklist for a whole year?
I mean, the goal is to get bingo, but my brain goes, if you get bingo, you can try and get double bingo. And then if you get double bingo, you might as well get triple bingo. And if you get triple bingo, you might as well go for quad bingo.
So let's say that you
If
have
you,
like three in a row,
yeah.
and in order to get bingo, you need to eat a dumpling, but in order to get a random other spot on the board, you need to lose 30 pounds. Do you think that because this is based on the game bingo, you would be more likely to do the one that will win you the game as opposed to the one that you actually should do?
I would just do both.
Okay.
I like eating soup dumplings won't, you
Let's
just,
let's say one of your bingo
yeah,
spaces is
yeah.
go to Los Angeles,
Okay,
and one of your bingo spaces is go to Miami.
right.
And it's toward the end of the year, and you have enough money and time to go to one place. You can fly there for
Mm,
vacation, and
mm.
Miami will win you bingo, and Los Angeles won't. Would the bingo board influence you to make the decision strictly off the fact you will get bingo, as opposed to looking into other factors such as cost and price and how much you actually want to go to that location and things like that?
I mean, I guess it depends how severe it is. Like, if going, if the price is like triple the other one, then like, that doesn't seem super great,
What
but.
$50? $50 more to go to
Oh,
the one
yeah,
that you want
that's
bingo
not too
for.
bad. I don't know. See, I mean, I don't like the hypothetical because I wouldn't put a place that I. Well, no, okay, sure. I do want to go to Miami, but just also the Las Vegas, but also only enough time and money for one, and one gets me bingo and one doesn't.
Yes,
I don't know.
that's the question. Because that's sort of what would make me apprehensive about playing it as a bingo game, is I might choose the wrong option based solely on it gets me bingo as opposed to what I would actually want to do in that instance.
Well, I mean, you could just not set up your bingo that way. Like, just make it more tight, I guess. I don't know the word I want. But like my brother also did this and he put go see a movie as 3 boxes because he like really
What?
wants to get more into movies and the theater and stuff.
Wow.
So he just made 3 separate boxes that say go see a movie. Whereas I said, read 5 novels, and that is 1 box. So I think it's a little bit on how you want to approach things.
Did you make your board, or did you let an algorithm make your board? Like, you wrote down your 20 things or whatever, and then a website picked where they are on the spaces, or did you pick where they are on the spaces?
I randomly picked where they are on the spaces.
Okay.
And then there was a certain point where I was like, oh, this row is becoming really easy, so I'm going to put one really, really hard thing here, so that it's just not a freebie bingo. Or like, this other row is like really, really hard, so I'm going to put a bunch of easy things here. But that only happened like twice. The rest was just like random placement by me. And I came up with the things I wanted to do to like, for me it was like, what can I strive to do that I want to do and haven't done and stuff like that.
Is it too personal for you, or would you mind sharing your board?
I can share a little.
All right. Maybe over the course of the year, you can hit us back with like updates, like if you get bingo, or if you do a particularly difficult one.
Well, yeah. Some of these I don't even know if I'll hit.
Okay.
So I guess I'll do all of them.
All right. While you're reading it, I want to maybe start getting inspired for my own card. So how many blank spaces?
Yeah.
How many blank spaces do I need?
Well, so you need a bingo card, which is 25 squares.
But one's a free
one
space.
In the center is free.
Okay.
So for my first one, I have Japan, which admittedly...
Kind of cheating. We're just doing that one.
We are just doing that one, but I want it to be something while we're in Japan. I'm just still thinking about, like, what specifically that would be. 2, learn Japanese phrases, which I will already be doing, but it's a good incentive to make sure I keep going to do it.
Okay.
3, clear my manga backlog. 4, lose 30 pounds by August.
Okay.
5, go to Savannah. 6, go to the Denver Meow Wolf. Some of these may alter, like, because I couldn't think of a ton of things, and I was like, I really enjoyed when I went to Savannah, maybe I'll go again. But we are going to Japan. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to say all of them, actually.
That's fair.
Grow a bonsai tree.
Okay. My brother might be able to help you with that.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Learn a song on the kalimba. I bought a kalimba.
I don't even know what that is.
A kalimba is like a handheld instrument with, like, metal, straight, flat thingies held in place by a metal rod, and it is, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, when they go,
no.
That's terrible. Okay. It's that instrument.
A guitar, got it.
No. Run a 5K.
Oh.
Beat the story of 5 video games.
Okay.
Do a corn maze.
Ooh.
Eat soup dumplings. Read 5 novels. Read some webcomics I've been meaning to read. Explore my fashion sense. Take a boxing class. And that's all I'm listing, actually.
Because you don't want to state the other ones?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I noticed, so nothing on there was what I'm going to say professional. So, like, for me, just quickly brainstorming, I'm like, okay, I want to hit 100,000 subs on one of my YouTube channels. I have a video I'm working on that's probably going to be like 30 hours long. And so, like, I want to make sure that gets done before the end of the year. Nothing exciting. Anyone watching this who also watches my other content, it would literally just be a compilation of all of my my analysis, my book analysis videos.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
There are
maybe
a few professional.
make sure the podcast is still going a year from now.
Ooh, I thought about putting a podcast square on it, and I was like, nah, it's fine. I have like 2 or 3 professional things on here.
Mm-hmm.
That I just don't want to say.
Okay, that's fine.
But I am also the type of person where, like, I don't super care about my jobs, whatever those are. Obviously, like, you know, have a little bit of pride and whatever. But, like, I've just never... I don't know, I never throw myself head first. I always try to have a work-life balance and stuff like that. I don't want my job to be my life type of thing.
What would you say if I'm like, Eric, we should do something, and you're like, I don't know, and I'm like, Eric, it's on my bingo card, and you made me make one, so now you have to help?
No. So when I was making my bingo card with my brother, and we agreed that, like, your bingo card should be you. Mm-hmm. Like, one of my things on there I didn't say is, like, I want to reach out to some friends and to, like, for a regular board game night. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to put a bingo square of have a regular board game night with my friends because I don't know what their lives are. I will reach out and try to make it more of a regular thing, but I'm not going to rely on someone else to give me bingo.
So I should not put me and you finishing our Life is Strange 2 Let's Play on there.
That is correct.
Okay.
You could put try to organize so that, like, schedule, whatever, so that Life is Strange Let's Play is more accessible or something. I don't know. However you phrase it.
What about something like, you know, like enter into a relationship? Does that not count because it involves someone else?
I would not count that. It involves someone else precisely.
Okay, what about me getting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube? That involves 100,000 other people.
This is true. I wouldn't count it.
Our bingo cards might be very, very different.
And that's okay. Your bingo card's for you and mine's for me.
Mm-hmm. Win the lottery.
Bingo!
I'll work on it. I might be able to present it next time.
Okay.
And you'll keep us updated with the ones that you listed?
Yeah. I mean, you'll have to remind me maybe, and mine are going to be a while. Like,
true.
Just
read 5 books
as much as I would. Yeah, I'll read 5 books this week, and I'll lose 30 pounds at the end of the month. It'll be easy peasy.
Easy peasy. So if anyone at home wants to do this, they need, what was it, 24 things?
24 things. The 25th is free.
24 things. The 25th is free. All right. I think before we wrap up, we might have an email to read.
Oh boy.
So give me a second. Maybe we can go to break. Maybe.
Nope. There is no more breaks. You just got to get the email.
Okay.
By which I mean going to the mailbox, opening it up, getting the mail, closing the mailbox, coming back to me, and then opening it, reading it quietly to yourself to make sure of the profanity, and then reading it aloud.
Okay, so this email starts, "Hello, Gibby, Devin, and Eric. I hope this email does not find you. I hope that you've escaped."
They're onto us, Devin.
They're onto us. They know that we're only kept here by the raccoons that live under the dumpster.
They live in the dumpster. They've done well renovations. Thank you very much.
Have you been down there recently? They have a cute little tea cozy that they use as like a bed cover.
Oh yeah, for the babies?
Yeah. All right,
yeah.
so we have questions. There's a lot of questions.
Oh no.
Okay, so the first group is questions for both of us.
Okay.
All right, so it's basically the general question is, what was your Spotify 2024 Wrapped? What did it look like?
Oh. Um, I don't remember exactly. It's been a minute. I listen to a lot of Jorge Rivera Herons. He is doing the Epic the Musical like albums and stuff. It's very cool. It for Devin and for anyone else not listening, he took the Odyssey, starting at the Battle of Troy, and is turning each, I don't know, like event, big scene into like a 5-song album,
Wow.
and then moves on to the next one. So it's like Troy, then it's Rowing Out to Sea, then it's the Cyclops, etc. It's very fun. That was a lot of what I listened to. I also listened to a lot of podcasts, like Not Another D&D podcast by Brian Murphy, Emily Axford, Jake, I'm so sorry,
Jakey.
and Caldwell, Jakey, and Caldwell Tanner.
Yeah.
Now I feel like a punk. I forgot Jake's last name.
So I don't have Spotify. I have YouTube Music because I pay for YouTube Premium for YouTube stuff, which gives you YouTube Premium music for free. Not for free. It's added on there. When you pay for YouTube Premium, you also get YouTube Music. So there's no reason for me to have Spotify. They did do their own version of Wrapped, but the only thing I listened to like a lot, like all my stuff was Taylor Swift because her new album came out. That was like the only songs that I listened to a lot of over the years were Taylor Swift. It did track the podcast I listened to the most, which was Back Issues from the channel Comic Pop, where they talk about comic books. I listened to 209,155 minutes of Back Issues. Yes, so...
I thought I listened to a lot with 22,000.
Yes, so that's kind of my point, because my brother also talked about the amount of podcasts he listened to, and like everyone's comparing their numbers, and I'm like, well, mine was, let's just see, that many minutes, and you divide that by 60, mine was 3,485 hours, or you could say...
So, like,
that's 100,
weeks?
100, am I dumb? Is that 145 days? Yeah, that sounds about right. So how did I listen to 145 days worth of podcasts in 1 year?
You listened to it to go to bed.
Well, I listened to it at double speed, because YouTube will calculate what you're listening to as if it was normal speed.
Oh.
Which is this is how I found that out. So I really only listened to 72 days worth
Still a lot
of podcasts. And I listened
Full
to
month
it.
Plus.
I listened to it. How, Eric?
Double speed?
While going to
Triple
sleep.
Speed? Oh, yeah, what I said.
Yeah, so if I spend 8 hours a day asleep, which is 1/3 of the day, then that's the equivalent of listening to this while I'm asleeping the entire night for 217 days. So 150 days out of the year I did not listen to this podcast while going to sleep, which is nowhere near as impressive.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's all that means.
Math is hard.
It pumped my numbers up crazy. But yes,
yeah.
That's where that number came from. But yeah, don't have a Spotify Wrapped, and my YouTube Music Wrapped was just like, hey, you listen to the Tortured Post Department. Wow. Question 2. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Have you ever read the Warrior Cats books?
No, I remember in middle school, kids would, like, carry it in their clutches, and, like, I was like, oh, that's not a book, that's a brick. And I just knew it as the cat books, and then I knew it as the cat books that get really political.
So I had one friend who was really, really into them in middle school. I think I read the first one and then just like didn't care. We had a conversation. My brother talked about it a few weeks ago because he was like, I think I read the first 20. But the only thing I really know about it nowadays is that it was kind of like the modern Nancy Drew or Hardy Boys, where like they were all ghost written by like 17 different authors who just pumped them out. And that it was just like a writer slop to get these warrior cat books out there, but I know nothing of the story or the lore or literally anything.
I see. Now, do you know what I did read, though?
What?
The Journey, Guardians of Ga'Hoole.
I saw that movie.
You must be a fake fan, because I read the books.
Okay.
I think I only read the first two or something. I imagine they were similar vibes.
Do you remember them?
I remember, like, it's a barn owl, and he's at a barn, but he wants to go on an adventure, and then he does. And there's, like, a worm at somewhere, and there's a big gruff owl, and there's a little owl sidekick that goes with the main character, who is a barn owl, and yeah.
That's neat. Did you read a lot when you were a kid?
No.
Okay, but you read the book, the owl book?
The Guardians of Ga'Hoole?
Yeah.
With a name like that? Who couldn't?
Okay, understandable. But you never read, like, Harry Potter or something normal?
No, why would I read that?
Okay. Next question. Do you have any Minecraft advice? Do you play Minecraft? They say that they have a visceral horror of the scary enemies, like the zombies. They point out that they're 24, and they ask how we get over the horror of playing Minecraft. I'm going to go first because my answer is a lot shorter. I've been playing Minecraft since it was in alpha. I've been playing for a very, 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 very long time. I don't like it, really. I liked Minecraft back when it was, like, hard and, like, it was difficult to, like, build a house. I don't like it now that it's sort of, like, I don't know, ender dragons and food mechanics. I don't like the food. The food's really kind of what killed it for me. But, like, I still get it. I still play it. I still whatever. But I like hardcore mode because it's, like, a cool, fun challenge, like a permadeath, you know? And I like creative mode because it's like playing with Legos, but they're digital Legos. And so I don't really like normal mode. And if you're scared of the zombies, I don't know what to tell you because I'm not. And that's really all I have. Eric, your Minecraft experience?
So, I don't really play it either. We played a little bit in our early 20s as, like, a group. And I would play it in that context. But I never really played it outside of that because if you know, you're a long-time listener, you know how I feel about Legos. I would make my one Lego penguin, and then I'd beat Legos. It was done. There was nothing else to do. So in Minecraft, you make a house, and then you're done, because you beat Minecraft.
Yes.
And when we played in the group, obviously I couldn't just make a house and then not hang out with my friends, so, like, I built a farm, I made vines come down from my house, I made an aquarium. And I could lose days to that if the social context was there, but I have no desire to play it as by myself or as its own thing, because I just don't get the, like, creative fulfillment from it, shrug. As much, at least. In terms of the zombies and stuff, I'll get jump scared by them, of like, oh, I'm just mining or whatever, and oh my gosh, I ran into a zombie. And that's freaky, but I'm not, like, continuously scared. So if your fear is, like, more than just a jump scare, I am sorry. I am sorry for you. I imagine there are mods to, like, make the spiders glow in the dark and small and whatever, and as well as for, like, the skeletons and zombies. Like, I can't imagine there's not a mod or something to make it less freaky. So, that I would check the internet for one of those, and if there are none, I guess you have to ask yourself, how much do you really, really want to play Minecraft versus Animal Crossing or something?
Yeah, so I guess the summarized answer is we both play Minecraft, but neither of us are, like, hardcore and we've been playing it
I
for a
would
long
say
time.
I don't play Minecraft.
Okay, you know how to play. If a group of people
I know how to play, but I haven't played in 5 years.
That's fair. It's kind of like Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart, where like everybody should know how to play, or poker, or Magic the Gathering. You know, everyone should know how to play them.
Right.
All right. Have you ever been to the Jersey Pine Barrens? Is it as spooky as the stories make it sound?
I feel called out because I've been meaning to go, but haven't.
I have also not. But yeah, we should go do spooky things. Maybe this year we'll do spooky things.
You could make it part of a bingo list
Pine Barrens with Eric.
Don't rely on people for bingo. No, the Pine Barrens are supposed to be creepy. It's got, the Jersey Devil's home and stuff, and a lot of, revolutionary tales and, 1800s and all that, so it should be creepy.
Yep, maybe that's something that we'll try to do. I won't put it on my bingo board, but that can be a 2025 activity for us. All right. He does now have specific questions for each of us.
Oh, geez.
Okay. So for me, he asks, Gibby Devon, what do we call you? You've said both Gibby, but you can call me Devon, and Devon, but you can call me Gibby. Eric calls you Gibby Devon. So please advise, what do I call you? And the answer is all of the above. I always felt it would be kind of weird if I was, like, talking to people, like, via voice chat, and they called me Gibby. But then in that FNAF live stream I was just talking about, they did call me Gibby. And I'm like, that's fine, I guess. I think if I met people in person, like, let's say I go to a convention, and there's a bunch of other FNAF tubers, and, like, I meet these people in person, I would definitely ask them to call me Devon. Gibby is just, like, my YouTuber name. I'm in my YouTuber persona, if I'm being called Gibby. But it's both.
Gibby is your internet name.
Yes. If I'm, like, friends with someone, I would definitely want them to call me by my real name.
I don't call Devon Gibby when we're hanging out, and I'm like, wow, Gibby, your brownies sure smell good.
I think I would punch you.
Wow, that was a good punch you just landed, Gibby.
So, I've told this story before, but one time I was playing board games at a friend's house, and it was just like, oh, okay, I'm going to open the box, I'm going to read the rules, and then I'll explain it. So I opened the box, I read the rules, and then it came to the explaining part, and so I have everyone gathered around, and I'm explaining how the game works. And one of our friends said, stop talking to us in your Gibby voice.
Yeah.
And I've said that felt like I was dealt, like, psychic Dungeons & Dragons damage. Like, that hurt me deep in my soul. And I was hanging out with that friend a few days ago, and I mentioned that to him, and he's like, I don't even remember that happening. And I'm like, I've thought about that almost every day for over a year.
Yes.
Just shows what we can put people through. Anyway, first question for you. He says, I'm writing this after listening to the episode about the argument about whether a hot dog is a sandwich.
Okay.
Gibby may be right, it's not a sandwich. But I'm on your side of the argument because you place an appropriate level of importance, low, on your opinion. And thus, I address this question to you and not to Gibby. What are other arbitrary categories of food? What is soup? What is salad? What is sandwich, etc.?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. They're all just words and they change over time. Like, I know people are like, cereal is cold soup, which I guess they're right.
I agree.
But no one calls it that, you know? Like, one of the things of like, oh, is a burger a sandwich? Well, if you wanted, let's say you wanted a veggie burger, and I got you a hoagie, I think you would be rightly confused, and I would be rightly confused of like, what do you mean you wanted a burger? So, I don't know. People also have weird things about like burritos and tacos and calzones and what is and isn't. And like, you know, one of the things I did a bit of spectating as my family baked cookies and stuff. And my brother was like, oh, this is I forget which cookie it was, I'm so sorry. but like this type of cookie is described as a Mexican cookie, but also it's an Italian cookie, but also I'm getting Google results of it's a Russian cookie. So, shrug. So there's just overlap in what we call things, you know, and different cultures call different things the same things. Or
Wow.
same things, different things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Did I answer the question?
I think so. You think it's stupid.
Yeah, more or less. It can be a funny haha joke for 5 minutes. You go, haha, the sandwich is bread in the filling. And then if you start feeling mad about it, that someone is not taking your opinion seriously, I think that's too much.
I think I've said this many times before, but I think that the amount you should care about something on the internet is directly proportional to how important it is. And thus, on our podcast that we release on the internet, the most important things are the things that are meaningless. And thus should be argued about.
Yeah, maybe. But, like, you shouldn't, like, it, you know, as much as we disagreed, I didn't get genuinely upset at you because of our definitions differ.
Correct.
Yeah. As long as everyone's chill and copacetic and it's all haha sillies at the end of the day, whatever.
All right, so there's a couple questions for me that are all on a similar topic. They're all about Taylor Swift. So
Okay.
they ask top 10 favorite Taylor Swift songs. I probably can't do 10 off the top of my head, but I know number 1 is Last Kiss. You got Clean up there. You got, Tim McGraw is so good. Betty. I'm literally going to be like, I'm going to forget like 5 of my favorite songs. Back to December. There's just like a lot of, basically all of them I could pull up. Every one of her songs would be like, oh, I love this one. I love this one. I love this one. Stay Beautiful. Dude, I love Stay Beautiful. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. She's a lot of 10 out of 10 songs.
What about Blank Space?
No, not even, no. Get it out of here. Trash.
Oh.
Not at all. I really like
What about...
the acoustic version of State of Grace. Amazing.
Okay. What about the Girlfriend one?
You're going to have to be way more specific.
The, like, she wears high
Oh, I mean,
heels,
everyone... everyone loves, oh my god, I'm having such a brain fart. That's like
yeah,
the song.
Right.
Everyone loves that song.
Isn't it like Cheerleader?
You belong with me. Just the best song of all time.
Yeah.
Maybe I can very easily get up to 10. Obviously, it's not that I don't know. It's just that I'm like, oh.
There's
100
songs.
Yeah, there's literally so many. I'd have to like look, and a lot of them are like actually 10 out of 10s in my opinion.
I can't believe she has one called Tim McGraw.
That was her first song. She wrote that when she was 16, and have you ever heard it?
No.
Genuinely?
Why would I?
Okay, so it's about the chorus is, when you think Tim McGraw, I hope you think my favorite song, the one we dance to all night long. And it's about the song Can't Tell Me Nothing by Tim McGraw. I've told this story before. The reason that Taylor Swift is my favorite singer is because my favorite singer when I was a kid was Tim McGraw. And so when I hear this song come on the radio by a girl who's around my age singing about Tim McGraw being her favorite, I'm like, I like this girl. And then I just followed her career for almost 20 years.
That's crazy. Couldn't be me.
Oh my god, Cold As You is my favorite song in high school. I don't think I changed it to Last Kiss until college. Cold As You, Perfectly Good Heart, Invisible. I'm literally listing like every song on her first album. Her first album is an incredible masterpiece. I think there's a solid argument for her first album, for Speak Now, or for Red being her best ones. But yeah, no, it's I think I hit all the important ones. Last Kiss and Cold As You were my favorites.
Okay.
Next question. Do you exclusively listen to the clean versions of Taylor Swift songs? Exclusively? No. Do I prefer them? 99% of the time, yes. I just think that, what's the Snow at the Beach song? I forget what that one's called. That song, Betty, I just think the clean versions are better. But there are some where the clean version is they just bleep the curse word, and so like intolerate it, it's incoherent because they're like it rhymes with the chorus, it rhymes with tolerate it, and so to just leave that section blank doesn't work. So do I exclusively listen to clean versions? No, it just so happens that the clean versions are usually better. Do you pick up the queer subtext in Taylor Swift's lyrics and think it's intentional? I know that she talks about gay stuff, like especially in You Need to Calm Down, like obviously there's a lot of stuff in there. I'm not entirely sure what you're referring to. I know that Taylor Swift fans can be totally insane, and so you go on Twitter and people are like, I have decoded Taylor Swift fans and then like FNAF fans and then like Kingdom Hearts fans just finding random meaning in nothing. Also right now GTA 6 fans finding all these codes that mean nothing. Like I can totally see people looking and finding things that happen to exist within the lyrics. With that said, I remember when Betty came out, and people were like, oh my god, this is such a queer icon song, because like she's in love with a girl named Betty, and like so it's just a gay lesbian romance, which is just not the case. The song is sung from the perspective of a man, and he's literally named in the song. His name is James. There's a line where it says, she said, James, get in, let's drive. And so when the album first came out and people were like, oh my god, Taylor wrote a gay song, I'm just like, did you listen to it? Because it's clearly from the perspective of a guy. Taylor just happens to be a girl singing it. So I don't know. I don't really trust the community to come to proper conclusions about things that they may have a vested interest in finding because it makes them feel like seen or heard or something. So I can't say I have. You can.
Can I bring a side tangent?
Sure.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
You know the like "Baby It's Cold Outside" song?
Yes.
And it's like, there's a version of this song. I don't know who sings it. I don't want to know. Mm-hmm. But the woman is like, hey, like, oh, well, I guess I'll stay a cigarette more.
Yeah. That's the song.
And that's the song. Yeah. And the lady, for whatever version of this song is, she goes, and that's weird because I don't even smoke. And then they continue the song. And I'm like, shut up, lady. What? I don't need your whatever dumb children nonsense in this song. Get out of here. Why are you speaking in my song? I don't care that you don't smoke. You're singing a song.
You have to moralize in the middle of the song to be like, smoking is bad, kids.
And there was a bunch of those throughout that version of the song where it was like, oh, lend me your coat. Not that I need it or whatever. And I'm like, you're singing a song, not performing in the play.
Yeah, that's odd. That's really weird. What's your opinion on the Rudolph song and additions made to the Rudolph song?
Like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah.
Had a shiny nose?
Yeah, and if you ever saw it, you'd even say it glows.
Yeah.
Like a light bulb.
Here's the context, right?
Okay.
If it's children singing it, they can do whatever they want. They can go and like a light bulb, yeah. Or Santa Claus showed up in his underwear.
Yeah.
Because they're kids singing it, they're having a nice time, they're celebrating how they want to celebrate it, A-okay. And I guess by that logic, if anyone else sang it too, I guess that's fine. It would just be a little more weird to hear a grown man with a deep, raspy voice going, Santa Claus came to say, in his underwear. I'd be like, what?
Okay, okay. But when you were a kid, did you sing them like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, I had a music class. I had to sing it like that.
You sang it the kiddie way? You sang underwear in music class?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we were banned. We were not allowed to.
Lols.
The teacher specifically said, you're not allowed to say any of the extra like phrases or whatever between words. Like, we have to do this seriously. You only do the real words. Like, very, very strict and angry about that.
I don't remember if it was like the teacher did it or if the kids did it, but like, yeah, no, the teacher didn't stop us. She was like, yeah, okay, this is how we're gonna sing it.
Yeah, that's very, very odd.
You got more Taylor Swift questions?
Yeah, the rest of them are actually Taylor Swift questions. Did I attend the Eras Tour or see the film? Yes to both. I did go to the Eras Tour, and then I was working in a movie theater when the film came out. We had all these photo stations. We had a friendship bracelet booth that we had employees working at, and so kids could come up and make them. Obviously, I went to see it, when it was in the theaters, but I also saw multiple parts. Like, I'd go in, I'd be like, okay, at exactly 1 hour and 12 minutes, they play this song. And so I'd go in and, like, watch all the people, like, singing and dancing, like, multiple times to my favorite parts. And then when I went to see it, I think this is a cute story, but it could also be told in a way that is not cute. But when I finally had a day off and I could go see it, I went in, and the only other people in there were 3 girls. And I'm talking, like, 10, 11, or 12 years old. And, like, literally didn't even have, like, parental supervision. Literally just 3 girls. And so whenever I get a ticket, I usually sit toward the front because I don't want to get a good seat. I don't want to take a good seat away from someone. So we're in, like, the biggest packed, biggest building biggest theater in the building. And I'm toward the front, and the 3 girls are in the back. And they're spending the whole time screaming and dancing and running around. Like, the 3 of them are having the time of their lives. And obviously, like, they know I'm there, right? They're not, like, worried about, like, upsetting me or anything. But they're just, like, cheering and whatever. Obviously, I'm also singing along to all the songs. But I doubt they could hear me, because if you're projecting forward, then, like, if they're behind me, they couldn't hear me, whatever. So just, oh my God, this is so, like, fun. I'm glad that I got to watch it with other people who were having a good time. So that was awesome. So then after the movie, it's wrapping up and the credits are going, and, like, I'm sure they're just waiting for their parents. So I leave and I go into the kitchen, and we were selling these Taylor Swift merch buckets. And the movie had been playing for so long that we only had, like, a couple left, but people weren't buying them anymore because the movie had been out for so long. Like, anyone who wanted one already got them. What had happened is we had so few when it came out, we sold out immediately, and so corporate sent us, like, an entire other shipment, and then that shipment wasn't selling through. So I went to the back, and I came back in, and the girls were there, and they were, like, getting their stuff to leave. And I'm like, hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed the movie. I actually am a manager here, so I'm going to give you guys some free buckets because we're not going to sell them anyway. And they're like, oh, my God, thank you. And so that was my experience watching the movie. I thought it was adorable.
Wow.
And then I went to the concert with my brother, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Ice Spice.
2 thumbs up.
Ice Spice opened for Taylor, and I didn't know who that was, and now she's in Fortnite, so,
And now you do know who she is because of Fortnite.
Yeah, now I've shot her in the face in Fortnite, How it just goes like that.
Hooray.
Hooray. He asked my favorite song, or here, I don't actually know what this person's name is, I apologize, person. My favorite song on the Tortured Poets Department album, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones. And then the last question for you, Eric, is you should do the trend where you listen to Taylor Swift until I get it, which is where you have to listen to all the songs until you start enjoying it. And they say you should listen to the song Maroon specifically. They think you'd like it. It's incredible.
I mean, okay, I appreciate the invite. Why is a sleeper? Why did you write in, Devin? Why is a sleeper plan for Taylor Swift writing in, trying to get me on her side?
I promise I did not write this email. This is actually an email from one of our listeners.
No.
I also might have a feeling I know who it is.
It's fine. I'm just poking some light fun.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Blank Space.
That's fine. That's fine.
I'm also just kind of a hipster a little bit, as cringe as it is. I'm sorry. It's part of who I am. And I don't really I don't know. I think Taylor Swift is overrated in the way that, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I think, is a little overrated.
That's an incomprehensible statement, because they're both the greatest things that possibly exist within their genres. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the best television show of all time, and Taylor is the best singer of all time, so I don't know how you say they're overrated.
Because I don't necessarily agree. Admittedly,
shun the heretic.
I don't know what I would replace FMAB with. I just, it was just everyone's number one and has been the number one spot for, 20 years. maybe more. I don't think it's been out more. Which, and not that it doesn't deserve high praise, it does. But, like, there's other shows and stuff. It's kind of like being like, oh, what's your favorite food? Oh, pizza. And Correct. It's like, well, yeah, of course it is. Obviously, everyone loves pizza, but, like, show me more. What's your favorite food? Not the favorite food.
Not the best. What is your favorite? I guess.
I also haven't, like, I don't know. Specifically for Taylor, I've listened to enough of her songs that, yeah, I mean, she wouldn't be this popular and rich if she wasn't good. So, I don't think I ever said her music is bad, per se. I just don't care for the hype.
Okay, Eric. If Taylor Swift was your wife, and she said, Eric, I got all my talent and my money from making a deal with a demon when I was younger, but now it's come to kill me. Would you fight the demon or run away, knowing that if you ran away, you would be hated by Swifties and you'd lose access to all of her money?
Clarifying question.
Yes.
Is the contract she made when she was a child, was the deal that she gives her life to the demon, or the demon is just now coming to kill her?
The demon's coming to kill everyone she loves, but she would actually be spared.
Oh.
Or maybe it would try to eat her heart or something. I don't know. Whatever happened in the movie.
I mean, I don't know. I think about it.
So what I'm hearing is that if your non-existent wife was attacked by a vampire, you do nothing. But if your wife was Taylor Swift and she was attacked by a vampire, you would defend her.
Whoa.
That's what you've said. That's how this episode
I'm not saying any of that. I was saying there was an overestimation amount of people that think they could kill a vampire.
Okay.
I don't think... I don't know what I would do in that situation, genuinely. Because if it was the true love of your life and your heart is basically their heart and you're one and all that crap, then you gotta at least try to fight the vampire. At the same time, if the vampire showed up in front of me and was like, move or die, I might move.
Okay, well, that was a very moving answer you just gave, and I think that's going to have to end the episode off for here.
Yep.
Okay, well...
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
We do have more emails to get to, but we will get those in a future episode of Slapendipity, Hobos of Happy Slap It Down. Thank you for writing in, person who wrote in.
Yeah.
I do know your name. It is on here. I just don't know if you want to go by your name. So I'll figure that out. If you ever send us another email, you can be like, oh my god, you can call me this. Just like how I told you that you can call me Gibby or Devin or Gibby Devin. But yeah, thank you for writing. Thank everyone for listening. Please be nice to each other, just like in general in your life. I think a moral of this entire show that we put on, it should be that, like, you should not lose sight of the things that are important to you and the people that are important to you, and stick by your principles and stuff.
Yeah,
and consider supporting the creators you admire. I have a Patreon, and you could donate, maybe,
Why not?
Why not? Good night, everyone.
Good night.